Statistically, the Jeep platform is one of the most sought after and highly modified vehicles in our market. Well, today we're going to turn to one of those specialists that have done amazing things with this platform. More specifically, we'll be talking about Lynxwell, the guys that bring you those jumbo screens. But beyond just the size of the screen, there are so many aspects to these products that you need to know about. We go now to Mr. Jonathan Detlefson standing by. From what I see, a pretty unique environment. Now, Jonathan, Jeep, as you can agree with me, is certainly a platform that has taken off in recent years.
Yeah, you're not even wrong, Ben. So funny story because I like to tell stories about my life. We've actually got a Jeep. We've had a Jeep with our company show cars for a while. And so I get the privilege of driving it at times. And I actually had my daughter in the car and I told her about the cool Jeep wave, where if you see another Jeep, you do this because that's what cool Jeep guys do. So yeah, the Jeep, it is like a cult. It's a cult following with Jeeps, and the Jeeps, there are so many things out there for Jeeps. And we figured we have so much tech that you could do so many cool things with, that the Jeep platform had to be one of those things where we were able to just introduce some really cool technology into these guys that are just mobbing out these Jeeps out in the dirt. And so that's what we did, man. We got our Jeep, we made it cool, and we put some cool tech in it.
All right, so John, one of the things I know for sure is although the Jeep is a very popular platform, as we've identified, sometimes it doesn't come with the most up-to-date technology, like you mentioned. Like we've already had many different brands come on and talk about audio upgrades, but I think today we're going to focus on your specialty, which is the interface, the headquarters of where everything happens, and that is, of course, the dash. So, if you don't mind, talk to us a little bit about the thought process when coming up and developing new product to replace the factory source unit with a Lynxwell unit.
Yeah, so one thing that Jeep has done on their own is because of all of the CAN and data and information that Dodge uses inside of like their Rams and stuff. Jeep has kind of adopted that same kind of thing. Anybody that's a Jeep guy will let you know the amount of technology that is now in the new JL and JT. There is a lot of technology that's going on. In fact, this one's a manual and it's almost impossible to stall because of the way the clutch works. You can literally let the clutch out slow enough and not stall. And all of that's due to all of the technology and the electronics inside this Jeep. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to come into this Jeep and do a couple things. One, for all of the guys that bought the Jeep with all those features, we wanted to retain all those features. And then we also wanted to do something where if there were certain features that we were able to just add in there, like some of them require hardware parts. Obviously, we can't add dual climate, but we can do other things like off-road pages and stuff like that, which we'll talk about. But we wanted to get into the Jeep market and make a radio that you lost absolutely nothing, and we only gave you benefits and more things to do inside the radio. So we did a lot of work, and I think we have a winner, if I'm honest. So we actually make 3 different radios for your Jeep JL or JT. What you see here in ours is our XL. This one's got a big old 15.6-inch screen. One of the most noticeable and coolest features about this is our on-screen knob here. This knob actually will run our volume, and then if I swipe here at the bottom, it becomes all of our climate controls because we actually take over. If you know anything about that Jeep dash, this is where your factory climate controls would be. But we have this big 15.6-inch, and then we've got a Generation 5 and a Generation 6. And those ones are actually designed to look a little different, though. It'll be a little 12-inch screen. It'll sit in there flush. But as you can see, we've made our dash is 100% fit and finish. It looks factory. We have the rubber bezels that go around so we can make sure that it hugs the dash nicely. All of our buttons, our hard buttons are good. They're all going to work off of factory stuff like that. Our install itself is plug and play. If you guys haven't seen any of our videos about our installation, all of the harnesses are plug and play. Our CAN bus is plug and play. And then we give things where you're going to be able to do all of your climate controls like right there on the touch screen. Seat heaters, seat coolers, if you have all of that stuff. All of it's interfaced and intertwined in our radio. All the firmware, everything. It's as simple as you going in there, pulling out the factory, pulling it all in. And I mean, I really think, I know this one's a big screen, right? Like 15-inch screen in the dash of your Jeep that's a big screen, but I could never go back. I'm telling you that right now. It's like when you get that push to start car and then you got to drive a car with a real key. You're like, how did I live life like this? That's kind of what happens when you get a big old T-style radio in your vehicle is you just can't go back. But you can see, man, it looks good. I think it fits in there nice. We do a lot of work for fit and finish because we want to look We want to look as factory as possible while giving you as many cool aftermarket features as we can. And here you go, T-Style XL in the dash. What do you think, man?
I mean, I gotta say, if I may interject here, Jonathan, having seen these units up close, we've covered a few of them recently. We did a Tacoma with you, and I'll tell you, if you haven't seen a Lynxwell screen installed, never mind what the functionality is. It just you guys have done a really good job making sure it incorporates with the cosmetics of the interior of the vehicle that it's meant to be in. And I just want to remind our listeners when Jonathan says it comes with everything, it literally comes with everything. If there's a certain texture or a material or a clip or whatever that you may need to let it integrate into that dash, it is included in the box. And as you can see, guys, here, I mean, it is incredibly visual. Like, there's nobody who would sit in this and not be blown away. So I'll let you continue with the features.
Cool, man. Yeah, and just a note to, like you said, screws and stuff. These screw holes actually are literally mounted. So if you are a Jeep guy and you're literally taking that Jeep off road, you don't have to worry about it falling out of the dash because it actually bolts in there and cinches it down nice and tight. But let me give you a real quick overview. You can see that Jeep in that picture. That is our Jeep. So you want to have your own vehicle on the backside of, or the background of your dash. There you go. So that's actually our Jeep. After SEMA, we went and hung out with Nito. But you can see all of our cool things. So we can video stream. We could do Disney Plus, Paramount. We've got all of our audio. We've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We have our DVR. So we actually have a USB controlled DVR. You can see it's right here up on our windshield. So that's live recording, both audio and video. You can lock it up and all that stuff. Plugs in super simple. You can make your home page pretty much however you want it, just like your phone. You can add widgets, all those cool things, Bluetooth controlled stuff. Swipe up and you can find all of your apps. These are all the apps that we've downloaded on our stuff. Hit the home page, you're back to normal. Swipe it over. I'm telling you, if you know how to use a smartphone, you can use our radio. It's pretty much that simple. And that also means, because you can customize your phone and tablet so much, that means you can customize our radios just as much. So Ring app, like if you've got the Ring app, you can put the SIM card in this XL or Gen 6. And now if somebody rings my doorbell at home while I'm on the road, I can literally talk to them right there on the screen. And no, I'm going to tell you right now, there's not another radio out there that can do that. CarPlay can't do that. Nobody can do that. Only Lynxwell can do that. But we're talking about today our factory interfacing. So I want to just real quick, maybe I could just walk you through a few of the cool features that we are specifically able to do on the Jeep. So we have this car settings here. So we go into the car settings. This right here is going to be every setting that comes on a factory Jeep radio. So whether you're doing safety and driving assistance, where you have like blind spot monitoring, backup sensors, hill start assist, all of the factory settings that would have been in your factory radio, we've got them for you right there. We got your doors and locks. So however you want your key to work, whether you want all the doors to unlock, everything. I'm telling you, if you haven't owned a Dodge or Jeep radio, the amount of control that you have inside your factory radio is a bit ridiculous. But because, like you mentioned, we do all of our R&D, we do all of our own firmware, we're able to retain every bit of that. So if you've got the Jeep with the factory auxiliary switches, we're going to give you the ability to control those, which means you're not losing those. You're not going to lose your factory auxiliary switches if you have them. You have the, if you take your doors off, you want to make sure that your radio shuts off with the doors. You can go in there and you can set it off, say, hey, I have the doors off, and the radio's not going to stay on. Your battery's not going to die. Easy exit seats, so the seats move when you want to get out. I'm telling you, all of your settings are right there. But what I want to show you is what I think is something that, besides the fact that we can retain all of these settings, there is a certain level of Jeep out there now, the 4xe. So anybody who's got a Jeep or a Gladiator that's got that 4xe, that's your hybrid version. There was a lot of work that went into being able to retain all of your hybrid settings. So really, I'm most excited to show you that. So let me show you. So I have 4xe turned on in our settings, which means that I have these two extra options up here on the page. You should see off-road and power flow. So let me walk you through two very specific Jeep settings and why they're super cool. Now, if you are a Jeep guy, you know you've got all the cool Jeep features. You got all of your off-road pages. Now, not every Jeep came with the off-road pages on the radio. In fact, our Jeep didn't come with the off-road pages on the radio. Our off-road pages are in the small little screen inside the cluster. Some of the higher end ones did have it on the screen. So if you are that guy, you get one of our T-Style Gen 6s or XLs with our little off-road and hybrid adapter, you'll be able to retain all of that. Now, if you're like us and you didn't have those pages, but you want those pages, well, we can add those pages for you. And that's what I was talking about, us wanting to give you more than just retaining stuff. So all of your transfer case stuff, your rear lockers, all your information, your accessory gauges, you can figure out what's going on with your engine while you're going, your pitch and roll settings, your dashboard to watch your cluster and all that stuff. If you don't want to look at it in front of you, it's all right there. Start, stop, bypass, we can turn it on. Now, one thing about this one is once it's off, it's off. You don't have to keep going in and turning it off every time you restart. Some folks love that. I quite love it. That's one of my least favorite features of a car is start, stop anymore. And then we have our hybrid settings. And I'm going to say this with about 99.9% confidence. We are the only aftermarket radio that allows you the max regeneration feature when it comes to the hybrid. As far as I know, everybody that I've talked to within the industry, this is a feature that is missing across the board, but not for us. So if you have that Jeep 4xe, whether it's a Gladiator or a JL, and you want to replace the radio, get something bigger, get something better, get all of the cool features like we have, because we are Android, we give you all the cool apps, and you want to be able to retain all your hybrid stuff, we are your answer. We are your answer to take your Jeep to that next level. You can sit there, you can watch all of your power flow settings. Yeah, so we are 100% about adding features and retaining features. And I'm really excited about the fact that we can do this in the Jeep world. I've wanted a Jeep since I was 13. So I have a bit of a love for the Jeep Nation. The Jeep Nation. I like that. Jeep Nation. I'm a Jeep Nation guy. And there you go. We're adding features for your Jeep. I don't know, Ben, what do you think?
So if you've been tuned in with us here at CMA Networks, and we've had Jonathan on many times, some of these features that Jonathan's gone through are pretty much standard with any Link Swell upgrade you're going to do to your vehicle. But I got to give it to you guys, give you the kudos where it's deserved. You've gone that extra level. You've done that extra programming. You are now offering above and beyond, you know, what anybody would expect. But what I love about this, Jonathan, is that one phrase that you said is that you are retaining all the great factory features and adding more. So on that note, let's talk a little bit about availability of this unit, as well as where people can go to get more information.
Yeah, man, for sure. So we actually have three options when it comes to the Jeep radio. We have a Generation 5, 6, and this XL that I showed you here. A couple things to know. Generation 5, the one thing about Generation 5 is you won't be able to retain the hybrid pages and off-road pages, but you will get Sirius XM. So if you don't care about hybrid and you don't care about off-road, but you do want Sirius XM, you want to go ahead and get that Generation 5. Now, if you jump to Generation 6 or this big XL here, get that hybrid module. They will be able to do all your off-road pages and your hybrid. We'll say this, the car settings, though, those don't require anything special. The only thing that module does is for the hybrid and off-road pages. The rest of the car settings will be across all three options. As far as when you want to get one, all three of these are available right now. You can order them right now. You can get it from your local distributor. If you're a dealer of ours, hit us up. We'll get you set up. If you don't know where to get it, if you don't know where your distributor is or who your distributor is, or you want to become a dealer, you want to check out our website, www.linkswellinc.com, and you can message us there. You can find out more information. We have a Become a Partner tab if you're interested in becoming a dealer. It's all right there. Bing, bang, boom, baby. Get yourself a nice T-Style radio for your Jeep.